This podcast is rated S for spoilers. Listener discretion is advised. Don't forget to view our spoiler-free companion video on our Half Past Podcast channel on YouTube. Welcome to the Half Past Podcast. This is episode 36, the movie review of the Huntsman Winter's War. We will also be discussing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of Shadows trailer. I'm Graham Ricks, and here with me is my friend and co-pilot, Ian Jones.
So it's starting to get a little bit warmer, right?
Yeah,
and
it is.
That means we're going to get some awesome movies coming.
Yeah. I can't wait for it, man.
I'm stoked.
There's a lot of good ones coming up soon. And, you know, it's a bunch more with titles with colons in their names.
Yes, because sequels are afoot.
It's so weird. I mean, after I've started reading these titles for these movies we've been doing, it's like, man, there's so many where there's colons in there.
The Winter's War, Out of the Shadows. 2 right in a row.
Yep, that was a rough read. So, the trailer is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So, now, we both went to go see the original one. Which, by the way, Mr. Levy actually wants you to come up so we'll watch it together again. He kind of wants you to do that. But either way...
okay, yeah. I think I could do that.
But anyway, we are both, like, torn when we both watched this movie, the first one. And I am torn on this one already because I'm like, it looks like it's more of, like, how the first one was. But... you know what? It looks more fun than the first one also, right? Am I the only one that thinks that? It looks like freaking awesome. Just like a fun movie.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe they figured out some of their issues with the first one.
Yeah.
And, you know, that one's out of the way. Maybe this one will be a bit better. I do recall that we definitely disagreed on this particular reboot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because one of the problems I had with the reboot of it was that the Turtles, I definitely got used to the designs of the Turtles, but I thought that they were really kind of strange, like creative direction to go with them. And the thing that bothers me about this one is it seems like they got Bebop and Rocksteady how I would think they would look in this universe, if that makes any sense. So why couldn't they do that with the Turtles in the first one? I just thought it was such a strange thing. I'm like, well, Bebop and Rocksteady looks like they're dead on, just about, and like they look like they're appropriate and they're not overly done like the Turtles were. And so I'm like, well, if they could have did that with Bebop and Rocksteady, why didn't they do that with the previous one in with the Turtles? And I just thought that that was an interesting thing that happened in this one.
Well, they definitely did a little bit of work on the Turtles. They don't have as much crap on them.
Yes, which is a plus. Which is a plus, because that was another problem I had with that movie, is you have these, they're supposed to be ninjas, and you got all this crap rattling around on their backs and shit, and it's just kind of a weird thing. They're like, they should be more streamlined.
So, I mean, I don't know. I almost wonder if there's going to be too much stuff in this. In the first movie, Shredder was really an afterthought. Like,
yeah,
originally he was going to be a different character, and there was a massive outcry online, and so they fixed it with some really shoddy reshoots, and so I think they don't have those issues this time around, where they're trying to like replace Shredder with a white guy.
Yeah, it looks like they have,
that isn't the case anymore. You know?
Yeah, it looks like they have the actual Shredder there now. So that, I thought that was definitely a good decision. It seems like they learned from the first one, and that they're really trying to improve upon what they did in the first one with this one, which is really positive aspect to this movie. And I really hope that it's actually better than the first one, because I didn't really like the first one. There was like some things I loved about it and then other things I absolutely hated about it. So I'm hoping this one's more of an even keel.
The funny thing is we're definitely going to get a fan favorite, and we're going to see Krang and the Agrodome.
Yep, we will see that. They show you glimpses of it in the trailer, and so
I kind of have a feeling that's going to show up right at the end of the movie, though.
I'm sure. You know what? I can't disagree with you, because it's exactly what I think is going to happen also. So,
all right.
Anything else for this one?
I guess that means they're going to do a third. if that's how it ends.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the Huntsman Winter's War.
All right.
Take a little break. As a war between rival queen sisters Ravenna and Freya escalates, Eric and fellow warrior Sara, members of the Huntsman army raised to protect Freya, try to conceal their forbidden love as they combat Ravenna's wicked intentions. That's a tough read, man.
It is a tough read. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that.
This movie's directed by Cedric Nicholas Troyan, this is his directorial debut. He was the visual effects supervisor for the first one, and I guess he was like the second unit director for Maleficent. So he's clearly been doing nothing but fairy tales through his career.
So they didn't bring back that other guy, huh?
No, they did not bring back the other guy.
What a shocker after that scandal was.
Yeah.
I'm betting they were hoping they were going to get 3 out of Kristen Stewart. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
All right. So he's starring Chris Hemsworth as the Huntsman / Eric. He was, of course, been in Thor, Star Trek, and Cabin in the Woods.
This drink, I like it another. Smash! All right. I had to do it once.
Charlize Theron as Ravenna. She was in The Devil's Advocate, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and Mad Max Fury Road.
Did you watch A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, we went together.
No, we didn't go together on that one. I watched that one like after it came out on like HBO. I think you went to go see that with Chris and Amy.
Okay, that may be.
Jessica Chastain as Sara. She was in Mama, Interstellar, and The Martian. Emily Blunt as Queen Freya. She was in The Adjustment Bureau, Looper, and The Edge of Tomorrow. All pretty good movies.
Yes. Edge of Tomorrow might be getting a sequel.
Wow. Really? Yeah, how are they going to sequelize that one?
Well, apparently, I was reading this online. Tom Cruise, at the end of Ghost Protocol, was like sitting there with the director, and I think they had the same writer or the same producer on that one was also on Ghost Protocol.
Oh, okay.
And he said, Tom Cruise actually said, I have a sequel idea for Edge of Tomorrow.
Wow.
And the producer was just like, I don't want to hear it. But, it's Tom Cruise, so it might just happen anyway.
Yeah, it might just happen anyway. Nick Frost is Neon. He was in Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Sam Claflin is King William. He was in The Hunger Games, Pirates of the Caribbean, on Stranger Tides. Did you watch that one?
Yes, it sucked.
I did not watch Stranger Tides.
Yeah, well, it's skippable.
Okay.
You didn't miss much.
Rob Brydon is Griff. He was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, A Knight's Tale, and Shaun of the Dead. Alexandra Roach is Dorina. She's been in a bunch of TV roles and The Iron Lady, where she played a young Margaret Thatcher. Last one we have here is Sheridan Smith as Bronwyn, and she's basically been in a bunch of TV roles, and that's about it with her. So now that we're done with these characters, Jones, just through them really quickly. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to get into the quirks and likes.
All right.
All right, Jones, now we're back with the quirks and likes section. So let's start with my first problem with this movie is that I feel like...
Wow, okay. My first problem. Problem number one
is there is a lot of narration in this movie. So I almost want to give credit to like Liam Neeson because he's actually a pretty big part of the movie. And it's like it'll be like I swear halfway through this movie there's this explanation via narration through half the movie, and I'm like, usually it just starts with the narration and then the movie continues on. Yeah, right. But it seemed like it kept coming up, and it just like bothered the heck out of me.
Well, yeah, and I guess the first one sort of had that at the beginning too, and then it went away.
Yeah, right.
It went the hell away like it's supposed to.
Oh, it was such a weird thing about this movie. I have a technical problem with this movie. At the very beginning, the first scene, there is a very strangely filmed scene between Freya and Ravenna. And it's like they're talking to each other and they're playing chess. And there is a clear breaking of the 180-degree rule. And I didn't even I remember watching it and I was instantly like, why the hell is she looking that way? And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, why the hell is she looking that way? And then Ravena's on the other side. So it like instantly confused me. And because I don't see that in movies ever, really, it was like jarring. And I'm like, wow, that 180-degree rule is definitely a thing. And, you know, there's certain times where you can break that, where you can move the camera past it, but usually it's in like either a confusing scene or an action scene or something like that where you're supposed to kind of get a little jarred. But it just like really bothered me in that scene, and it just surprised me with that. The other problem I have with this movie is, can you think of a movie that is both a prequel and a sequel at the same time?
I'm stunned you didn't. That's the first thing I wrote down because the movie is technically a sequel. And it's marketed as being a prequel.
Yes.
Which, why wouldn't they have just done this? Why did they do it that way? For starters, people hate prequels anyway.
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense to me to market it that way.
Yes.
And God, I just was so blown away because the previews show it as being one thing where Charlize Theron is a bigger part of the movie.
Yes.
When she really isn't.
No, she's not.
And she gets top billing, right? I mean,
yes, she does. And it's like, I can't get over how much that freaking annoys me about this movie, because it's I've never seen this happen before, and now that I've seen it, I can see why it doesn't happen. And it's like you can't even describe what it's like, a prequel / sequel, but because they like a good portion of the movie is before, is like after, and then most of it's like before. So it's like weird. And you're just like, and they're like twisting everything together. And I don't understand it. It's like the weirdest thing. So I don't understand exactly why they did that with this movie.
And the thing that's weird too, and I don't want to jump over one of your things potentially, but they have the thing that links them together, really, that links both movies together, is one scene with the king, who, you know what, I'm going to get into this deeper, but...
No, let's do it. Go ahead.
All right. There's one scene with this king. I'm trying to think of his name. King William?
It's just King William, yeah.
Okay. So in the first movie, you're not sure who Snow White is going to pick. There's two guys.
Yes.
That she potentially has feelings for.
Yeah.
And I feel like you want her to end up with the Huntsman.
Yes.
This movie spits all over that by basically just saying she marries the king.
Yes.
She marries, the nobleman instead of going after the Huntsman.
Yes,
and that's just how it's going to be, so we can get more of these silly movies.
Yeah.
So we can tell a different love story altogether. But the king doesn't come up at all after that point.
No.
He shows up and says, Snow White commands it of you. But you never see Snow White. You only see a body double.
Yes, you see a body double and she's crying next to, I guess, the mirror or whatever.
And then so the huntsman leaves and goes after the mirror because it's this dark mystical thing that's gone missing.
Yeah.
But the king and her army, Snow White's army, never comes up again.
No.
The huntsman orders the army to go to the front, and I thought for sure they were going to back him up, and it never happens.
No, it doesn't.
He never gets any of the backup. So I just wonder about that scene, because you could have just started the movie there.
Yes, you could have.
and done like a flashback or something.
Yes, that would have made a whole hell of a lot more sense. So,
to me, that's where the movie probably should have started. They should have worked around from there.
You know what? I didn't really think of that, but I totally agree with you on that. Like it would have been a better movie overall had they started the movie there. The only other thing I have, man, and then you can continue on here, is I don't mind a good love story in a movie, but this one is just drilled into you. And it is the predominant theme of this movie. If somebody were to ask me what this movie is about, and it's about love overcoming, that's essentially the thing of the movie. Everything else kind of doesn't matter around it. And as much as I love a good love story, it just seems like it was drilled in there. And you know what? It's like, and this is not even one that Disney did. So it's just kind of, it's kind of weird that comes up. And that's what I have.
Well, it's got its really melodramatic parts.
Yes.
Like where you think that the two main characters should be fine and should be able to move past it.
Yes.
And then they aren't, and it turns out that she's just playing him the whole time, and then it isn't just the one love story, there are three.
Yes.
And that's, to me, where it becomes ridiculous. Like everyone at the end of the movie doesn't need to pair up. and right off into the sunset.
Yeah. It's kind of an unfortunate thing, because one of the things that, after you said that, it reminds me of one of the things I liked about the movie that I don't have on my list right now, but is that I liked the concept of Freya doing her like ice wall and showing them a different present time. Yes. I thought that was a real clever thing to do, to like split them apart and then see both sides. But then it's just like, I kind of wish there wasn't like this turnover where she's actually against him still and she was a part of it all along, and then they come back. Like, it's just like such a weird, like, I'm like, why isn't it just, why don't they just overcome that and then come together and then fight together? Why is there this extra little thing tacked in there where she's like basically kind of betrayed him and then they reconcile? It's just like a weird thing for when it comes to the writing of it. I just thought that was real strange.
Yeah, it does get a little messy.
Yeah, right?
Sure. But I mean, there were some scenes where I thought, yeah, this is just a little too melodramatic. They're obviously going to end up doing it, and they do twice in the movie that a lot of little kids are at. So maybe I could just jump all over that. When your ears are turning red, And you know that there are kids in this movie theater. And so there's the one scene in the hot spring.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, they end up talking about getting married.
Yes.
That's actually kind of sweet, but
yeah, that's a
also
sweet
naked
scene.
too.
Yeah.
And definitely getting it on. But it was the other scene by the campfire that I thought, oh my goodness, they really need to cut away sooner. Like, there are kids everywhere in the theater, and it was just too hot of a scene. Especially with the campfire.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness, you can almost see everything on her.
Yeah, that happens.
Oh, funny. I know there were some parents in there probably freaking out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to jump all over.
No, it's your turn, man. I'm done with my quirks. Okay. So you keep going.
Well, let's see here. Okay, yeah. Well, so yeah, a couple of things. It really bothered me, I guess, that the Huntsman didn't end up with Snow White, but I almost liked this love story a little bit better, other than I thought it was laid on far too thick.
Yes, it was.
It seemed to me like this would have been a more appropriate place to start if you were going to do a Snow White type movie.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And then maybe build into that. Like, it just seems like this is disjointed and it's out of order.
Yeah, you definitely feel that way. So, because this is a prequel, it seems like even with that said, it's a prequel / sequel. but even with that sequel. With that said, it seems like what you were saying earlier, starting the movie there and not doing the 8 years thing, and just starting the movie there and then doing the Snow White movie that we got a couple years ago would have made a whole lot more sense, right?
It's incredible. He doesn't age in 7 years, guys.
Which is, another thing that's pretty interesting, because I swear there's scenes where it looks like some of the other Huntsmen have aged, but, Chris Hemsworth still looks fantastic.
And he's still wearing the same clothes that he was 7 years ago. But you're not supposed to remember that. You're not supposed to notice that he never changes once, ever. And that he smells. That's right.
Nice.
That character smells. For all the girls out there.
All right, what else you got?
There is overt innuendo throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, there is.
And to the point where, I thought it was clever, but I almost was thinking, what kind of movie is this?
Well, you know what?
Especially the comment Sara makes about wetness.
I know, right?
I about fell out of my chair. I couldn't believe it.
It definitely got a chuckle out of me. I was like, ha. Oh, that's so bad. You know what? A little later, I'll get into what type of movie this is when you're done. Right.
So there, the other thing, which I did mention briefly, but there's a pretty big fake out with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Because you just don't get much of her until the end of the movie, and I thought that was really a shame.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
They explain that's how she survives, and I suppose it makes sense for the plot.
Yeah.
But she's such a big villain.
She is.
That it seems like a bit of a waste.
Yeah. I agree.
I think, and really the happy ending where everyone hooks up and pairs off. I just have to reiterate again that bothers me to no end.
Okay, is that all?
That's it. Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the likes. The first thing I want to say about this is one of the plus sides to this movie is I think the performances are actually pretty good, especially with Charlize Theron. She once again just takes over the movie the minute she hits the screen. Like, she has an amazing presence on screen when she shows up. She freaking owns this role, and it's so disappointing that how like bad these two movies have been. They've just been like okay, you know.
Right.
But Charlize Theron, it's like no, she is Ravenna. Like there's no other person that can do it. It's like she freaking owns it on the screen. Like the entire time she's there, I'm like, wow, her performance is fantastic. Like she's such a strong villain. And I'm trying to figure out, can we get another movie that's better with Charlize Theron as a villain and see if we can't get a better movie, because she is just fantastic. And that just bothers the heck out of me.
They definitely made it possible for that character to come back for one more.
Yeah. So she's just her presence is amazing on the screen. It's just like, I'm just shocked at how jarring it is when she gets there, and she just immediately makes Emily Blunt look pointless. Like I
know, which is weird because that was Emily Blunt was really one of my likes too.
I thought her right. But like I thought her performance was
quickly
good.
Overshadowed by Charlize Theron sitting in the throne with that ridiculous crowd, and it's just amazing. Right. Like my eyes wanted to pop out of my sockets. It was that cool.
I totally agree with you, man. It's like Emily Blunt does a really good job, and you're right, she just gets completely overshadowed immediately. It's so shocking on the screen. I freaking love it.
It's unfair. It isn't even fair. The second that gold comes out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, forget it. Everyone else is taking a back seat now. I'll carry you through the rest of this movie.
Oh, that's fantastic. The other thing I have to say about this movie is I thought, just like in the last one, I thought the visual effects were effective. And I thought they did a good job in this one also with the visual effects. I really enjoyed the gold scene where she comes out. It's a very dramatic scene, and it shows that, at least from the visual effects side, they're doing a pretty good job with what they have. The last thing I want to say about this movie is the type of movie this is, Jones, is, to me, this has date night written all over it. This, to me, seems like it is the perfect movie to take a date to go see. You know, it's not absolutely awful. It has some issues. You guys can probably laugh. You can kind of judge her reactions with the innuendo and crap like that that's going on. It's got date night written all over it. And I feel like if they would have advertised it as such, maybe it would have been a little more successful. And I truly feel like that's the demographic they were going for, was like a date night type movie.
I think I know what you're doing on your next date, Graham.
Nice. I'm just saying, it's written all over it. You see my point though? You know, you got Chris Hemsworth there, so it gets the women in the seats. Okay. And, you know, Jessica Chastain is what is your problem?
I thought you were going to say something.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh, wow.
Get your head out of the gutter, G.
I'm not the one with the head in the gutter. But you get Jessica Chastain. And I think that she does a pretty good job also. And she's kind of kicked butt. And there's enough little action sequences. And, you know, one of the scenes that I thought was a really effective scene was that damn goblin scene. That whole sequence I thought was just a fun little sequence. But I mean, you know, there was enough like action to keep somebody's attention. It has like a lot of just like Chris Hemsworth charm is thrown in there. So, you know, your girlfriend's all, you know, wooing, you know, Chris Hemsworth's wooing your girlfriend. So it's like everything is just like fine. Like, I think it's just date night written all over it. And that's how I feel like it is. So, what do you got, man, for your likes?
You know, yeah. And so the first thing is I've complained about Jessica Chastain for a long time.
Yeah, you have.
But I really liked her in this part as Sara.
Yeah, I liked her too.
You know, I don't know. I thought she was really likable and almost charming in a way, but that it like she fit the part. You know,
she did.
Like she was perfect in that role. And the other thing too was that I really enjoyed Queen Freya. Like it was like, to me, she was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, she was.
And you know, she's the bad guy of the movie. She ends up getting overshadowed pretty quickly by her sister, unfortunately. But I mean, you know, her costume and just how dejected she is the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, you feel bad for her. Yeah. And in a strange way, you feel bad for Charlize Theron's character, Ravenna.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, and they sort of get into that, but I mean, she had her heart broken years earlier.
Yes. So
it's weird because you do sympathize with the villains, which is why I think it makes them so good.
Yeah.
They tend to overshadow the heroes. But I really like both villains in this. I thought all the female leads were really good, and all the female characters I think kind of overshadow the guys. They're funnier, and they're really a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are.
I really love Queen Freya's dress. Good luck trying to cosplay that one for all the girls. Never going to happen. It's impossible.
Yeah,
no one's ever gonna get that cape thing right. I don't know how they did it. If they had to do it with CG or
I don't know
what, but I mean the metallic scales, forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. The troll scene where the trolls are fighting like apes.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was so cool.
That was a great sequence. So it's like, it's so weird. This movie has like a lot of good in it, but it's just like missing so much, and it's disjointed, and it's got some problems. So I just don't know about it. It's kind of a disappointing little movie, to be honest.
It almost seems like you could take the good stuff from two movies and make one awesome movie.
Yeah, right? That's exactly how I feel about it. Just bring all the
characters back in and fix it.
Yeah, right?
Cast different Snow White.
Yeah.
Have both sisters fighting for the kingdom.
Yep. It just makes so much sense to me that if you took the good from both of these movies, you would have got one really good movie. I agree with that.
You make Freya Snow White's mom.
Yep.
It works.
It
works. All of a sudden works.
Yep, it does. It makes perfect sense.
All right,
man.
I think that's all my likes. I'm trying to come up with some other things. I mean, I don't think I hated the movie.
No, I didn't hate the movie either. Which, you know, I guess that just brings us to our rating here.
Okay,
so
all right.
I think this movie has quite a bit of good in it and quite a bit of bad. So when I left the movie theater, I felt indifferent to the movie. And I feel like that's are really just a shame because I feel like there is a lot of good in there. So with me saying that, I feel like it needed to earn its right as a prequel / sequel, to justify the making of this movie. And I don't think it quite hit it. And I think that, like I said earlier, I feel like this is the perfect date movie. So if you want to see a movie and take your girlfriend to go see a movie, this will be it. But other than that, I say rent it or skip it. And that's just where I'm at on it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I think it's fun enough and has enough interesting visuals, and it is a romance, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think overall the movie is fine, and I think it is worth a rent. I think it isn't worth seeing in the theaters just because it's a bit of a mess.
It is a mess.
And there were a few things they needed to tighten up, but I almost wonder if they weren't handcuffed by the original movie.
It would have been a better movie.
They couldn't, like this would have been better than the first one had it just been its own thing.
Yeah.
And not had to follow and not had to somehow link up. Like that to me was where it was clumsy.
Yeah, and you're 100% right on that. I totally agree with you. And just talking to you about it, it just makes a lot more sense if like Freya had Snow White as the daughter, and then you could probably have Snow White be the one that gets taken out as she's older, which causes the rift between the two sisters. And then, so on and so forth, or whatever, or what have you. But, I just think that there's just so much in there that's good, and there's so much in there that's bad. It's really unfortunate. And there's just so much where I'm just ecstatic about, like Charlize Theron's performance in that damn goblin scene, and then just a fun kind of movie. It's just, God, there's just like all of that is just so great that I want people to at least see the movie. So I agree with your rent it, man. It's cool.
All right.
Anything else?
No, I think I can contain my excitement for the third movie, assuming it gets one.
I don't know. Maybe after that they'll figure it out. I don't know. But the way that this one ends, it looks like you're not going to get Charlize Theron again. So that would be devastating to the movie. All right. So I guess let's go ahead and sign out. If anybody wants to contact us, we always have our website, our home on the web, halfpastpodcast.com.
Like us on Facebook.
Rate us on iTunes. And we are now on Google Play. Google Play Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
They approved us.
They approved
Those
us.
Idiots. Suckers. Those suckers. We got them good. We got them good.
So now we have easy access to all the Android users. So it's great.
We
it's
got
awesome.
them good. I know, because Android users all the time are struggling with podcasts.
Yeah,
for some
right?
reason. It's the weirdest thing.
It doesn't make any sense. They always have to get like a podcast catcher app to get it. So it wasn't built into anything. So Google Play finally added podcast. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
We got those Android users now. We're on Stitcher and Libsyn. I love Stitcher, but I also love Google Play. They're all morons.
Email us at halfpastcast@gmail.com. That's halfpastcast@gmail.com. Let us know you're listening.
Twitter. Tweet us at halfpast podcast. Why do I always screw that up?
I don't know why you always mess that one up.
One day you're just going to take this part away from me, I think.
Yep. It's, you know what? I've already been thinking about it. I'm thinking about maybe I should just be the only one to say anything. Back through here.
You know what? I'm going to shave your head and I'm going to pull all your nose hairs out. In your sleep. And you won't be asleep, obviously. But like, I'll do it every time you fall asleep. I'll just pull a nose hair out. And you'll tear up and be like, what the hell was that? What was that? Are you in here? Give me your key back.
You're absolutely ridiculous right now.
Well, you're the one who brought up the nose hair thing.
I didn't bring up any nose hairs. That was all you, sir.
I feel bad that people aren't listening to this part of the podcast.
Oh, they're not listening. Nobody listens to this part of the podcast.
All right,
Why do you think I allow all this to happen? Thank you for listening and thank you for your support.
2 weeks.
For the few people that last this long.
Thank you for listening.
Guess what we have in 2 weeks?
Captain America Civil War.
Captain America Civil War. Yes.
Oh, finally.
Yes. Oh, it's been so long. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks. It's over. Oh, I can't wait. I think that this is going to be easily one of the best movies of the year.
I'm going to punch you through my computer right now. I'm going to punch you right through the internet. That's how pumped up I am. Punch you through the internet via excitement.
Oh, I can't wait for some Captain America. Let's do it. This is the Half Past Podcast. I'm Graham Ricks.
Jonesy.
See you next flick.
Oh, got it that time. Yeah.